No, I will not be pouring water on my head for a fake hat trick. Avs win over the Philadelphia Flyers 3-2. This was not the most interesting game on the planet, but I do think it was an important one in the style of win that the Colorado Avalanche had. Oftentimes this season, we've seen the Avs be a better team for a period or two, but not be able to capitalize on their chances. They ultimately give up the first goal of the game and make their life hard and then go on to lose. The first half of that was true in this game, but the Avs were able to break through this time and win a game where maybe at first things weren't breaking their way. That's what good teams do. Good teams find ways to win games, not lose them. Certainly through the first two periods, the Avs were the significantly better team, better in pretty much every single metric of the game. The first period, though, the Avs were not able to put a puck in the back of the net despite being the better team. We've heard this story a lot this year for the Avs. The difference, however, is instead of the Avs getting counter-punched, you got two good periods out of Justus Annunen, and more importantly, your more fleshed out lineup was solid top to bottom, and they did not break defensively. That allows this game to progress deeper into the second period, where if you give the Avs time, they will eventually have a superstar burn you. And Cale Makar, well, he's just better. The Avs set themselves up on their breakout here. A quick little give and go with Mikko gets them out of their own zone, and then he's able to go ahead to Taves. Now keep in mind, Cale Makar is the last guy back on this play, so he's number 5, and he kind of just floats back there, disappears a little bit on this play. Taves is the man getting the zone. He finds McKinnon. McKinnon's able to hold up. You still don't see Makar. Makar is biding his time on the back end here because the Avs have multiple threats now. Jonathan Drouin back up on this top line. Devon Taves, the deepest man in the zone. People stop thinking about you when you're the 5th guy. So you get a double commit onto Nathan MacKinnon, and McKinnon's able to take advantage as Cale just now starting to come into frame. As McKinnon sucks a guy in, he's able to find Cale in the seam, and Cale gets to the top of the circles. You know what? He maybe could have even gotten a little bit deeper here, but he's Cale Makar, so he finds the spot, he picks it, and he scores. What felt like the superstars having to put everyone on their back for a good portion of the season feels like it's finally over, and the Avs have a multitude of weapons now that teams have to respect, and that opens up even more room for their superstars. Makar is able to play a little bit sneaky on that one, find the open ice, and the Avs have a lead. And I know Nathan MacKinnon is leading the league in points, and you're getting a ton of goals out of Mikko Rantanen, but I think it's pretty clear that Cale Makar has been the Avs' most important player this season, particularly in games like this one where he just won't take no for an answer. He keeps working, he keeps trying to make things happen, and eventually he usually gets rewarded. It's him carrying this team through the parts of the season where they need something, they need a spark, they need a goal, whatever it might be. You're usually looking at Cale this year. The fun does not stop there for Cale, though. He would score another pretty goal a few minutes later in the second period. Unfortunately, it was called back for goalie interference. Jonathan Drouin was standing in the crease. I think this one is pretty understandable. Yeah, it's a little bit cheap at times where goalies step up and actively move into the contact, but just don't stand in the crease and that problem gets solved. The goalie has the right to his position anywhere in the crease. You gotta stay outside of it. Funny thing happens in hockey sometimes, though, when a goal gets called back. I call it the puck don't lie effect. Exact same player, very similar play. Cale Makar gets rewarded. Avs on the power play, not a particularly interesting one, but good to see them converting power play opportunities against the 3rd best penalty kill in the league. This one is not skill. Makar working up high is going to throw a puck towards the net, and you're going to see this one hit not one skate, but 2 skates on the way in, both Flyers players. I feel bad for Kolosov in goal on this one, to be honest. I'm not sure what he's supposed to do here, but Cale Makar earned a couple of good bounces. Yeah, obviously that's just luck. Ridiculous double doink off of 2 defensemen ends up in the back of the net. That's silliness, not something Cale Makar did on purpose. But it feels like maybe the hockey gods are finally giving the Avs a few breaks this season where they've had a ton of injuries. They've had a bunch of puck luck go against them. They even had a goal taken back in this game. But somehow, someway, the puck ended up where it was supposed to. Cale Makar with a multi-goal night. So a 2-0 lead after the second period, and the Avs had to work through it, but they put themselves in the driver's seat in this game. And I think the first half of the third period is very important. The Avs don't let off the gas. They keep working hard. They keep pressuring against Philadelphia. Some stupid calls came into play here, which, you know what? Not going to argue about it this game. They lost a ref to injury early in this game. Thankfully, it seems like he's mostly okay. Reffing with just one guy is hard. I get it. There were not a bunch of great calls tonight, but at least there's a valid excuse. The Avs work through that, though. They are able to kill off penalties, they're able to work hard, they're able to maintain their 2-0 lead, and eventually calls come back the other way, and the Avs are able to get that dagger goal, which they've so often missed this year. One of the weirder situations I've seen, this 4-on-3 is going to expire as the Avs are scoring, but they're able to maintain possession with that man advantage and the ton of space they have. You see Mikko just operating at the top of the circles in a dangerous spot. That's crazy that he just gets to stand there. A good pass from Druin finds him, and Mikko, smart little play here. Yeah, he's trying to score, but he's also trying to create options. He shoots to that far side, so if a rebound does come out, Casey Mittelstadt is going to have a chance at it. That's exactly what happens. Mittelstadt, quick with the stick, is able to flip this one up and in for the 3-0 lead. Simple hockey, baby. It works. Also, are the Avs the best team in the league at scoring a goal a couple of seconds after a power play expires? It's getting weird at this point. A 3-0 lead with half of a period to play, the Avs need to win that game pretty much every single time. And they do manage to win, but they make it a whole lot more dangerous than it needs to be. Frankly, they give up a couple of cheap goals, and with 6 minutes to play, it's a 1-goal game. The truth behind a handful of goals this year for the Avs, if they want to face off, it would not have happened, but that's far from the only problem here. They do lose the face off, and you get a quick set play where they're going to go low to high, working it back and forth on the wall here. That quick pass back, the Avs get a little bit caught up defensively deep in their own zone. Nonetheless, Annunen does not track this well. He's expecting the puck to go a little bit further towards the center or even pass to the far point, so he's trying to read around the screen on that opposite side. It never makes it that far, and it puts him well out of position for a shot that isn't particularly special to just float in because he never sees it. This one is a little bit funnier as the Flyers are going to win a puck battle along the near wall, and the puck's going to come out high to the opposite side. A shot gets thrown in, but is ultimately wide. A decent chance comes out from the end boards that Eustace is able to make the initial save on, and then everything goes a little bit sideways. Eustace makes the save. You can't tell from here, but it's actually underneath him, loose between his pads. He doesn't have it sealed up. He thinks he has it in his glove on the opposite side, and all of the Avs think he has it too. Unfortunately for the Avs, they don't play to the whistle, and the referee has a perfect line of sight onto a loose puck in and under Annunen. Now, the Avs are getting baited by Annunen a little bit because he's acting like he has it under the glove, but you see all of the Avs start to float and stop playing. Meanwhile, Tyson Forrester, the only man on the ice who works to the finish here, recognizes, hey, there's probably a puck loose behind this guy. He gets in there while McKinnon is floating, while Rantanen is floating. At least Hayes is engaged in a battle here, but with no one covering, it's a tap-in goal on a loose puck in behind. Goaltending is hard. Tracking a puck is hard. I understand that. But if you want to earn a job as an NHL starter, you have to do a better job of tracking those pucks than Eustace did on those 2 goals. If you want to give him a pass on the second one, I understand a little bit. A puck bounces around. Sometimes it ends up in a weird spot. He just doesn't know where it is underneath him and can't find it. He doesn't get help from his defense. He doesn't get help from the linesmen or refs. It just ends up in behind him. Okay, sure. But that first one, he has to do a better job of fighting through that screen and finding the puck more effectively. He just leans to the wrong side instead of tracking the puck directly. And I know, it's hard to see a puck through legs and bodies, but that's what NHL starters do pretty much all game, every game. And to be clear, Eustace was good enough tonight. Did enough to get the Avs the win. But that's kind of like taking a test for your finals, getting every single multiple choice question correct to get that 70% to pass, and then completely failing on the essay questions when it comes down to closing out the game. Yes, you passed the test, but you did not really do so effectively. And this is hard for me because Eustace was really good through the first 2 periods. For a team in the middle of the pack where you know your goaltending isn't great, that's fine. Being good enough to win hockey games in the regular season is all the Avs need at the moment. But when you have third periods like that, it becomes hard to trust a goaltender when you see yourself as a cup contender. And the Avs, when healthy, should see themselves as a cup contender. So it's not some horrible fate for Eustace, who was awful, unlike last game, but it's still something you want to see improved. Thankfully, from there, the Avs were able to get it together, hold on to it, and get this win. It keeps them above 500. It shows they're a fully capable team of winning in another different way, one where they dominate and maybe don't get rewarded at first, but they're able to work through it. The Avs are consistently starting to show signs of being a good team. They still do have their slip-ups, of course. They're far from perfect, but things continue to move in the right direction. I know that can be hard to see when they're just one game above 500, but you can feel the steam building. You can see it start to go their way. As long as they can stay relatively healthy, I think we're about to see this team start to jump up into the top of their division. Obviously, Winnipeg with their winning streaks is way up there, but everybody else they're starting to chase down. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. I am Rudo, and I like dogs.